Going to do a quick drag and spray and drag, and then we are going to run Pro Mod. So again, attention in the pits. Pro modified to the lanes, please. Pro Mod, Pro Mod, Pro Mod to the lanes, please.
So we're going to prep the prep, huh?
Yeah, we're going to prep the prep.
Well, folks, we have a full slate of season ahead of us. Here is our next event. It is the big event we're promoting here at WWT Raceway in St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you ready to crank up the thrills of your Independence weekend? Then get your tickets to the Night of Fire and Thunder Speed Spectacular at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Saturday, July 1st. Kei and the Midwest Drag Racing Series are teaming up to deliver the most explosive night of the year. Dragster, promos, funny cars, and of course, fireworks. It's a fun-filled festival for the entire family. Tickets start at just $30. And kids 12 and under are free. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism in Discovertown State, Illinois.
Back here to Thunder Valley as we are right here in Noble, Oklahoma. You know, as we get ready for a Pro Mod Showdown Round 3 qualifying, we have 1, 2 in the lanes is all. Pro Mods to the lanes, please. We have a bit of a season-long, I don't want to say tiff, but a rivalry going up between two of our premier drivers. Let's show you that. This was recorded yesterday. They've showed off with 2 rounds of qualifying, and they'll be right next to each other in round 3. All right, well, the audio doesn't seem to be going over there. But Keith Haney and Stephen Wiley have shown up against each other all over the season. The Haney and the Whiteley crew, they have each other circled on the sheet, as it were. As I take a look here, we are quickly coming up on building a Pro Mod ladder, and it is going to be a tight one. We have 8th through 1st is in the high 3 6s or the 3 7s. And it should only get more tight between now and then as well.
Stroud employees take pride in manufacturing the world's safest seatbelt. Every belt Stroud sells is cut, sewn, and assembled in our facility in Oklahoma. When we say made in the USA, we mean it. Stroud belts, now sold in 3-inch or 2-inch straps, are best when paired with our new Defender Series black laser-etched ultralight aluminum adjusters and cam lock. We all know lighter is faster, and faster is better. When you want quality and experience, reach for the belts with the big blue patch. Stroud Safety, making faster, safer.
Welcome back to Thunder Valley Raceway Park here in Noble, Oklahoma. And I am Luke Clevenger, and it brings me a great joy to put out the final call for Stroud Safety Equipment Pro Modified action. All right, well, shouldn't be too much long now. Final tire rotation making its way there. I see some Pro Mods in the lanes. If you're going to have a Stroud Safety Equipment Pro Modified, you need to be in the lanes right now. And Top Alcohol Funny Cars brought to you by J&A Service. You are on standby. Thank you. It is time for your Stroud Safety Equipment Midwest Pro Modifieds to burn up the lanes here.
Are you ready for some hot rods? Ladies and gentlemen, Pro Modified. Are you excited, Luke? I'm stoked, dude. We got Keith Haney in the left lane, in the Black Mamba, and the Willys in the right lane. The Willys is evil. in all the right ways.
It calls itself grumpy for a reason, my man. Look at this. Keith Haney at 371 and a 9. And he has some numbers to hit. It's a very tough racetrack today, or yesterday. Way better today. I wouldn't be shocked if some people shimmy their time down further.
Absolutely. You know, our top 2 spots in the 360s. I know that there were 5 or 6 pro mods that didn't show up to this event, and they didn't because they were actually wondering whether the weather and the track conditions were going to be worth it and if people were going to get down. And I know that they are now kicking themselves in the ass because they screwed up. They just plain screwed up, and they should have been.
But anyway, they screwed up.
They screwed up big and should have been here. So now we've got great conditions as the temperatures are cooler. The racetrack is tighter. Now, the big deal is going to be whether or not these guys throw enough power at it early, because if you don't, then the thing's going to shake the tires real hard. So that's going to be the test right now. That's why all these teams are going to want to make runs this morning, because this racetrack, again, with this cloud cover, should be considerably tighter. Let's see what they run.
Here we go, quarter of the way, stage up, and Keith Haney pumps into the beams. Ready to go. Off we go. Oh, and this is going to be quick. Up across the line, 368 for Keith Haney with the 6 at 2:02. That is going to be a really great qualifying run. Brian Lewis finds himself, by the way, with a 374 and an 8.
Yeah, Lewis moves up to the number 5 spot. Haney maintains that number 6 position, but improves from his 369 to that 368. Now, I do see a little bit of a chatter mark out there, so that thing did shake the tire early, but only a tiny bit. Just quivered him a little bit, but it might have slowed it down a hundredth or two. That could have been the difference between running the number 1 qualifying spot and staying there in the number 2 position.
And I'm telling you, folks, I am telling you, this is going to be a quick round of qualifying. Not every time you come out to the Saturday morning round of qualifying do you see do you see guys improve their time that much. Usually I call it the last chance qualifying, right? Because this is where you throw everything in the kitchen sink, and it's really more important as you get closer to the bump. Not in this case. This is, I think a lot of guys are going to shake up the field here, finding that extra little bit of speed. That cloud cover is going to be so clutch as we move on throughout the day as Aaron Wells and Mike LeBate come up. So Aaron Wells is your number 4 qualifier, 374 and a 1. Mike LeBate, a 409 and a 6. On the right-hand side. LeBate, one of those guys who had to lift off yesterday, and it was an ongoing theme of the race yesterday, of the qualifying. The guys are just having to lift off well early. Mike LeBate trying to make his first clean run.
Yeah, out on the racetrack yesterday, that like 100 feet, 150 feet mark was really kind of a tricky zone, and so these guys, were running out there, starting to have trouble about 100 feet or so. And then by 300 feet, they were back in it and ready and, willing to go. But they really had to work at running through that spot early. And so some of these guys were getting out there and getting a little bit out of shape and clicking it just a touch early. But right now, nobody's going to be doing that. Aaron Wells currently qualified number 4 with a 374 with a 1. And LeBate 409 with a 6. Now, I got to tell you that LeBate, he really is one of those dudes that can run a great number here in the Angry Bird Firebird. So we're hoping that crew gets it all nailed down. Aaron Wells, the Wells family racing, running a junior dragster here as well. Great team, great group of people, beautiful car.
All right, well, there we go. Our starting line cam is back up there. That is why I stepped aside there. There's our starting line cam. You can see Aaron Wells on the left-hand side. Our 2019 champ, by the way. I'm not sure if you mentioned that, Chad, but Aaron Wells looking to find some speed. Halfway staged up. Bump it in. There we go. Mike LeBate, it's his turn to match, and we are just about to get going here.
LeBate with the big hole shot right there, and motors on down. 372.3, 210 mile an hour for LeBate. That was the run. 0.55 on the tree for the Albuquerque native. Was way better than Aaron Wells, who was 128 on the tree. Wells, 374.1, 202, has him in the number 5 spot. But Mike LeBate moving up into the number 4 position with that 372.3. This is what Pro Modified is all about.
That's right. And, hey, look at this, by the way, Chad. All right. Position 9. We only have a 12-car field right now. John Stouffer, position 9, 376. Everyone else is quicker than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got all 370s and 360s in the top half of the field with just a couple of guys, Josh Vettel and Keith Goolsby, that are outside of that. We know they're going to step it up right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Giuliano is barely outside of it, but the only knock against him is he very much lifted on both of his runs. Ooh, and look at Ed Thornton coming in hot there.
Ed Thornton in the turbo car. Sideways. And one thing you're going to notice here in the Midwest Drag Racing Series is that unlike NHRA's big show national event pro mod category, where really there are just 4 combos, right? There are 2 blower combos with a an injector hat on them, both a screw and a roots blown combo. And then there's a pro-charged combo, which is a centrifugal supercharger that's mounted out front of the engine, and those cars don't have a hood scoop. And then there are the nitrous cars. Now, the thing that makes it different here is that you're going to see all 4 of those combos, but also see turbo combos. The last turbocharged combination to run in NHRA Pro Mod was Lyle Barnett in the Elite Motorsports car. That car did well. Lyle was able to amass a few wins, including the U.S. Nationals in 2022, but definitely the underdog in his driving is what really made that car as good as it was, thanks to Justin Elks putting him right there where he could take advantage of the whole shot. But here at Midwest Drag Racing Series, you're going to see all flavors of Pro Mods, and it's what makes it look cool.
Not only that, but all flavors, thanks to a very tight rule set, are very competitive. Here we go, 3/4 way, stage up, Ed Thornton. It's his turn to bump into the beams. Off they go. Ed Thornton gets the leave on him and up across the line. 369 for Ed Thornton, 211. As Chris Giuliano runs a 396, he's not going to improve his time at all.
That moves Ed Thornton into the number 4 spot behind Werderhausen. Werderhausen 369.2, Thornton 369.8. LeBate gets moved down to the number 5 spot, 372.3 right there. Giuliano not going to improve on his 380. That car way late leaving the starting line, 300 the light. You'll notice that thing looks like a roots blown combo with the big injector hat sticking out of it, but it is actually mounted on top of a tunnel ram with a bunch of nitrous, as we saw them purging that setup on the starting line. Now, you can't hold Giuliano to the side and think he's not going to be a player later, because that car does go A to B, and if he's up against a competitor, he is definitely going to step on it. We'll see what kind of action we have left.
I'll tell you what, too. If that car, let's suppose that car runs a 380. He could take a couple rounds if a guy just shakes his tires. 380 is you and a blip of the throttle between a good run and losing to a 380 car. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever, and we know that they are going to get up on the tire. That's a relatively new team, and they are excited about running with the series, and we're excited to have them.
Absolutely. I'll tell you,
attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Funny car to the lanes, please. Funny car to the lanes, please. I need all funny cars to the lanes now. Top Dragster, we need you to the lanes. UEM Pistons, Top Dragster to the lanes, please. Top Sportsman, you are on standby. Josh Vettel over there in the 71 CUDA. Like Steve-O says, a bunch of throttle control over there as he does a big boy burnout. Mark Werderhausen in the left lane in that gorgeous 69 Camaro actually having a little trouble there on the burnout. That thing didn't really jump up on the tire, and it shook real hard as it spun them, and just a little bit of smoke, not nearly the burnout they want. Now, that's a turbo car, and so that thing may not have been up there on the boost quite all the way when he let go of the button in the water, so we'll see. Joe Oplosky behind the car, crew chief on this thing, checking the wheelie bar height, talking on the radio to Mark, going to guide him up there to the stripe. Left, right, left, right.
I'm interested to see what Joshua Vettel does here. His previous 2 runs, nothing to really write home about. He had to get off the throttle for a 5.5 second pass, 398. He got off the throttle at 145. If he could keep it pedal to the metal, he can find himself right in the mix of this.
Yeah, power isn't their issue. That car just wasn't handling great yesterday. Was kind of all over the place at 500 feet. Oh.
It's speaking of being all over the place. He'll lift there, but look at Tito. 367 and a 6. Good night, Irene.
367.6. That was a killer run for them. But I got to tell you, that bumps him right up there by 1,000th of a second to the number 1 spot over Stephen Whiteley. But that run didn't even look exciting. Straight as a string. That's the way you want to see it.
You know who that reminds me of was Justin Neslony, the way he ran last year here in the Midwest Drag Racing Series. He makes insane speed look easy. Tito, the gloves are coming off for him. And look here, too, about the speed difference between Werderhausen and your number 2 qualifier, Whiteley, 12 mile an hour at the line.
Yeah, that's the turbo combo right there. Turbo cars always faster in mile an hour compared to the blower cars. They're slower to 60 foot, but faster at the top end. And so that absolutely makes sense. But really, Vettel, not sure what happened. That car absolutely shut off at about 120 feet. Speaking of Whiteley, Stephen Whiteley over here in the right lane out of Grand Junction, Colorado in the 69 Camaro. John Stouffer out of Neosho, Missouri in the left lane in the 71 Cuda. We talked about this before. Stouffer has literally never looked better, calmer, or more comfortable in a race car than he has this year behind the wheel of this Cuda. And with his good friend Scotty Palmer helping out with this team, helping out with the car, and tuning this thing, Palmer told him, hey, you know what? We may not be the fastest. I'm a funny car and really more of a dragster guy, but I am willing to do this, and we have a lot of help and a lot of friends in this industry that will help us out as well. But I guarantee you nobody is going to have more fun than we do, and that's really why John Stouffer is out here.
Absolutely, and look where he finds himself, the number 9 qualifier. Despite a 376 and a 3 run, Stephen Whiteley, a 367.7. His previous run was the number 1 qualifier, is now the number 2 qualifier. See if he can find a little bit of speed.
Top dragster, this is your final call. And if you have not been through tech, see our tech inspector at the back of the lanes. John Stouffer, Stephen Whiteley, the final round of qualifying here at the Summit Racing Equipment Midwest Drag Racing Series, presented by UEM here at Thunder Valley.
Halfway staged up is Stephen Whiteley, the Grand Junction racer, rockets off the line. Here we go. Whiteley's going to make a clean run. Stouffer has to turn it off. Whiteley with the 366 and a 4. That's the number 1 qualifier.
Whiteley goes number 1, 037 on the tree, 941 to 60, 246 the short time. Again, 366.4. He is, that's a big jump over the 367.6 from Werderhausen right there. That is sending a message for sure, like, hey, Mark, that was cute, but let me have this back. Now, Stouffer left the starting line, and that thing shook the tire and jumped up in the air and was pissed off. And Stouffer lifted off the throttle. I think that Scotty Palmer put a little too much tune-up in that bad boy right there, shaking his head. But, man, it was fun to watch. All the teams still smiling. We know that Stouffer will be back up for round number 1 shortly. One of the prettiest Camaro Pro Mods you're going to see. The 68 model of the Sandman going up against Goolsby in this 57 Chevrolet. Listen to the burnout, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a beautiful car matchup. You know, it's the Sandman 68 Camaro. I almost call that a sky blue as the sky starts to peek itself out there on the upper left of your shot. And the Keith Goolsby, nobody with blood dislikes a 57 Chevy Bel Air Pro Mod. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's un-American. It's inhumane. You should check yourself into a psychiatric ward if you don't like a 57 Chevrolet race car.
No. I mean, forget un-American. I don't know of anybody. You could find un-American people. I bet you could find some North Korean natives, and they're like, okay, you know what? I'm not too fond of your country, but that's a bad to the bone race car. we do not like you. We do like this race car.
Oh, that's awesome. So the Sandman in the right lane, getting ready to stage that car up, waiting on Goolsby to pull up over here in the left lane.
And if you ever meet Tony Williams, the Sandman Williams on the right-hand side, meet him because he is the most even-keeled, mild-mannered, kindest, old-soul guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because he's a lot calmer than you'd think for a Pro Mod driver.
Right.
But Goolsby over there in the left lane, number 12 spot. There we go. Goolsby with a good run, A to B pass. That thing runs out the back door, 396.6, only 184 mile an hour. Now, folks, if you watched it on the live stream, not sure your camera's going to show it. It's not that close, but through the lights, there was a ton of water vapor coming out of the breather tube in the deck lid of Goolsby's car, and that thing definitely not happy down there at the top end. Didn't blow it up for sure, but definitely not thrilled to death. 064 on the tree, though, and Tony Williams over there in the right lane, the Sandman, was 202 on the tree, runs 554 as he had to lift. That's a prime example. Going A to B is going to get you ahead at the stripe, and so we'll see what the 57 can do in the first round of eliminations.
Final call for the UEM Pistons top dragster. First call for the Bat Music Racing Engines top sportsman. Thank you.
Sorry, my microphone was locked up and it had a red light on it. I was trying to say.
Small but mighty field here as you move into the J&A Services top alcohol funny car. J&A Service top alcohol funny car. Small but mighty is the theme of this field here. Just the two of them. But Steve Macklin and Jim Whiteley, they're toe-to-toe. It's a knockdown, drag-out fight here.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of
We
them.
can make it if we try. Just the two. There's a song there. I don't know the rest of the words,
That's
but
it.
I know that one, and it's from my childhood and before Luke was even a twinkle in his dad's eye. But he still knows the song because he's a radio DJ, so it's all right.
Right, yeah.
All right, so Whiteley in the left lane, that awesome 69 Camaro top alcohol funny car, and the B&J transmission special over there in the right lane, Stephen Macklin. Stephen Macklin, self-employed business owner.
Recently bought B&J Transmission.
Right. And that's why I was going to say, and stepped up to sponsor some cool awards in the class for best reaction times and packages. And look at that,
This is a
Macklin.
heater.
366 gets their first to the 368. They were real close on the trio 70 to an 082, but Macklin 200s quicker to 60 and motors on down there. This is going to be a fun one to watch, as these are our only two funny cars. They are going to make exactly one run later for the final round, and we're going to let them.
Here's what I would do. All right, if I was in charge, is I'd say best 2 or 3. You're gonna run during rounds 1, 2, 3 of qualification.
Shut your mouth. I'm counting on us getting out of here so I can go eat at Kendall's tonight. That's my plan. I got a chicken fried steak with my name on it, so don't screw this up for me, Luke. Do not screw this up for me. If you don't know Kendall's, then I don't know who you are and where you live, but Kendall's is famous everywhere. I am not doing the challenge, so Adam at Beard Meats Food, if you watch him on YouTube, did the challenge at Kendall's last year and swore it's the best food he's ever eaten on a food challenge in his life. They have 3 different sizes of chicken fried steak. Everything comes with a homemade cinnamon roll. Everything is amazing there. Kendall's in Noble is rad.
I'll have to check that place out. We
Oh,
did
yeah.
run into each other at the same restaurant the other day.
Yes.
Which is funny because we were driving home and I think we just took the wrong exit, and I was like, I am hungry though. And he goes, we had BJ's the other day, and I was like, yeah, I'll do some BJ's. So we pull into BJ's, we sit down to eat. By total happenstance, you guys walk in. Oh, hey, fancy to meet you guys here. As I'm working with the most mature crew here.
Oh my God! Help me, Lord! Oh,
God help.
Jesus! Oh,
Thank.
my God! Help me! I got a pork chop stuck in my left ventricle over here. I'm having a heart attack. Oh, wow! Look at that! Anita Strasberg tattooing the starting line. 0-20 to a 151 for Calvin Minnick. Runs 368, 197 mile an hour. By the way, that's impressive. And yet it's not even remotely fast. It's the slowest thing ever. And you know why? Because that woman's been 371 miles an hour on the salt at Bonneville. Anita Strasberg is a badass, a certifiable little chick with a big right foot, and she is rad. Her husband Jeff down there, what a great group of people. That is badass. All right, ladies and gentlemen, top dragster still running out here. Our UEM Pistons top dragster. As like I said, Anita Strasberg, man, laying down a number on that run.
He shoots. He scores. Here we go. All right. Mark Moore on the left-hand side taking off as we cross the...
Dude, Mark Moore with the wheels up in the air, riding the wheelie bar out to 200 feet right there. I guarantee you Damon Steinke is down there on the left lane. He is on the left side wall. He's looking at his camera because he caught that with the wheels up. Look for those photos on E3 Extreme this week because that was rad.
Absolutely. I give a shout out to Paul Moore, by the way, too, who chopped down the tree. He's taking it home with a trip zip on the light in round 3 of qualifying.
Dude, we've had several of those this weekend already. I love it.
You know, it's been...
Attention in the pits, attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Final call, top sportsman to the lanes, please. Final call, top sportsman to the lanes.
And off we go here, up across the line. Man, I'll tell you, the Andrew Taylor Brown, he jumped off the line, but it did not like it. There's a lot of wheel shake there between the 0 and the 60, as evidenced by the 1.2 second 60-foot mark. And that was a 0.6 of a second slower than normal for Andrew Taylor Brown. Is back in that thing on up there. That's Ryan Curran out of McPherson, Texas. And now coming right into your shot. There he is. That is the one and only Jimmy Sakovich out of Raymore, Missouri, the 2018 Spitzer. He makes just about every one of our top dragster races. And if it weren't for a living legend named Anita Strasburg, he would probably be a multiple-time champion here at the Midwest Drag Racing Series. But I'm telling you, man, Anita Strasburg shuts the door quite a bit. Also, the funny thing is for as BA as Anita Strasburg is, just kindest woman you'll have, one of the kindest souls you'll ever meet too. As we're 3/4 of the way built up here, Jimmy Sakovich, the 25-year-old out of Raymore, takes off up across the halfway point across the line. Let's take a look. 389 and a 7. And that's not going to improve his time at all. He previously ran a 389 and 3 and a 381, so he doesn't improve much. Ryan Curran runs into 14th place as we go into our ladder. As we have one more to run here. It's a single on the right-hand side. Mr. Not on File. He's in the green car, number 420. Jeremy Maples. So he's named after a leaf. He's in the green car, and he's number 420. I'd like to thank the proud sponsor of Noble Race of Thunder Valley Raceway here in Noble, the Dank Side.
I see what you did there.
Oh, I'm thanking my sponsors.
I agree.
We are you know, here to plug our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Like the Dank Side Dispensary. All right, let's see. He's going to get high on the light there. 006. 4.56 too soon. That's not green. And across the line, 4.67 and a 7 at 146.
All right, the Bond Coat Dragster coming up in the right lane. And that Hodge Auto Group Dragster over here in the left lane, Rare Morrison Power. That's Cody Moore in the left lane, Jordan Epper-Jesse in the right lane. Every time I say that, I think I'm going to screw it up.
It's funny. Like, I feel the same way. It's easier to say than it is to look at and say.
Yes, exactly, because Epper-Jesse is not hard to say, but it is kind of weird to read it and say it at the same time.
Eperjesi. You don't even have to buy a consonant.
No, or a vowel.
Yeah.
I've often said, like, I grew up with some kids that I thought should have filed a lawsuit against their parents when they were about 4 for not changing their last name from something that was going to take them until they were 12 to be able to spell.
I'll tell you, man, I've lived the life of every time you get a trophy, it's misspelled.
There you go.
Here we go off the line, and here's the flyby. This is going to be actually a tight one as we get to the line. Pretty close at the line. Cody Moore with a 4.55 and a 5. Epper-Jesse 4.57 and a 6. Two very comparable times, but way slower for Epper-Jesse than he thought that Dragster is capable of.
Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Secure Sportsman foot brake to the lanes, please. Secure Sportsman foot brake to the lanes for your final time run, please.
And so Rich Moline on the left-hand side, owner of one of the best barbecue sauces you'll see in drag racing. He'll cross the line to 4.56 and a 6. Jacob McNeil chops down the tree, 004 with a 4.68. And he's got that thing dialed in. Look for that 4.68 dial in. He's got a 4.67, a 4.69, and now a 4.68 to complete the Pokemon card collection.
Wow. All the RPM right there. Casey Brundage over there in the right lane. Bob Henry in the left. Henry out of Owasso. Casey out of Ada.
Casey, of course, proud parent to a couple of junior dragsters. Jovi and Carly.
They are a dragster family.
Yeah, they are.
Line those suckers up in there. They got them all stacked up tight in the trailer.
And it's time for Bob Henry to bump into the lanes. Here we go. 6 ambers, a green, and a red as he's going to cross the line behind Casey Brundage. Left 007 too soon. 4.13 and a 7 across the line. Bob Henry a 4.43 and a 5. So it looks like Casey Brundage's, was it Casey Brundage? There's a piece of wing out there. Was it Bob Henry's or Casey Brundage's? It's Casey Brundage's. So we're going to send a man out there, take a look Well, part of the wang fell off the thing. I had a good eye by our track safety officials because I'm going to be honest with you, Chad. I didn't see that one. Looks like it might have lost part of the parachute, too. And so, too, we will be into the Pat Musey Racing Engine's top sportsman just briefly. Like, think Pat Musey Racing Engines, some of the best engines in the biz. Pat Musey Racing Engines, a tremendous, tremendous company. Legend of the sport, Pat Musey as well.
All right, the Pennington Motorsports Wade Pennington driven 2015 Copeland chassis 509 cubic inch big block Chevrolet powered dragster in the right lane. Womp womp. Our last dragster before we get into top sportsman. And I don't know what that was, but I know it was no damn good.
Yeah, I mean, you almost couldn't even tell audio-wise that the car actually took off.
Yeah, just barely idled away. So we'll.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Kryptonite Customs, high-impact, high-definition wraps, cars, trucks, SUVs, windows, signs, trailers, boats, buses, racing and commercial, even golf carts. Custom designs, solids, gloss, metallics, textures, even chrome. If you can imagine it, we can wrap it. The premier custom car and truck wrap shop, located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Call us today. Let the transformation begin at Kryptonite Customs.
For more than 25 years, ProCharger has made the most powerful, reliable, and advanced supercharger kits on the market. More than 100 national championships in the last 15 years, and thousands of wins at the racetrack, there's only one choice. Best-in-class performance on the street with the broadest product selection available, including 50 state legal systems. ProCharger. Invented, engineered, and built in the USA. Hillett Atomizer, the only purpose-built drag racing injector on the market. Built and manufactured by racers in the USA. custom sizing and inlet designs, an all-new website, complete refresh service, and the only rebuildable fuel injector on the market. You get the right injector the first time. See why more champions run our injectors than any other brand at atomizerfuelcomponents.com.